everyone, this is Lomi, and today I'll be building a bed for my biggest dolls. I love the idea of doll furniture, but it can be cost prohibitive and it takes a lot of space, so I had to be a little creative with this idea. In order to bring the costs down, I started with this baby changing table that will be converted to a 4-post canopy bed. The top will double as a table or work surface, which makes this big project a little more palatable space-wise. The changing table itself ended up being pretty easy to assemble, which honestly surprised me. The hardest part was putting it together in our guest room, which doesn't have great air conditioning, so it got a little warm during the course of this project. On the whole though, it was so easy to assemble that I actually thought I had done something wrong. Fortunately, it was just really easy to do the first part of assembly. The first modification to the table to make it into a bed will be reducing the length of the legs. I want my 65cm dolls to be able to touch their feet to the floor when they sit on it. So I measured the length of their legs from the knee down and decided that 9 inches from the floor to the top of the mattress would be an ideal height. I rounded that measurement a little bit to make it easier to mark, then marked it across all 4 legs. They look pretty even, so then I took them out to the garage to cut the legs with my husband's chop saw. In the past, I've made him do a lot of the work with power tools, but I'm working on getting more adventurous with the saws and things because I want to be able to build a lot of stuff. My mom has actually been encouraging me to turn our relatively unused guest room into a giant dollhouse that has a human-sized bed in it, and honestly, I'm pretty tempted to do that since the room isn't cooled well, so it's not useful for much. I finished the legs with some sandpaper, then took them back upstairs to finish the building process. Putting the legs on ended up being the hard part. Not because the assembly was difficult, but because the little hand wrench they give you for screwing on the legs was really tough to use for tightening the screws. It was a major arm workout, but otherwise, no complaints. In the future, it might be smart for me to use a drill or something instead. At that point, the bed was built, and the next step was figuring out what to do for the mattress. I had a box full of nice quality foam I'd saved from like 100 boxes a friend gave me back when she worked at the Apple store. The products came to the store in really nice shipping materials, and I used to use them when shipping things I sold on Etsy. There's no good way to recycle foam, so because it was really nice, I ended up keeping it for like 10 years, figuring I would find something good to use it for. I used it for the doll-sized couch I made before I started my channel, so it made sense in a way that I would use it for more doll furniture. In the end, the mattress would require 30 blocks of foam, with scraps from a previous project stuck in the middle to fill the cutouts and give me sturdy, almost solid pieces. It feels pretty good to take something that would have otherwise just gone in a dumpster and turn it into something that actually has value again. I cut some of the blocks to the right width, but I ended up using all the trimmings as filler, so nothing was wasted or thrown out. Once all the blocks were assembled, I glued them together into one big sheet, and that made the mattress. While I was out at IKEA, I also grabbed one of the cheap $2 pillows so I could make doll-sized pillows too. I tore one end open, removed all the stuffing, and put it in a pillowcase to keep it contained. Then I cut up the thin pillow material to make 2 fairly standard-sized pillows and 2 larger square pillows. I preserved the existing seams where I could, then used a zigzag stitch on my sewing machine to close the sides that had been cut. I put stuffing back into the pillows and sewed them shut, and I think they turned out fairly convincing for doll-sized bedding. There was a lot of fiber fill left over, but that's fine because I can always use that to make stuffed animals for Evie. I used to make stuffed character dolls for my friends a long time ago, so that would be something fun to revisit at some point. Maybe someday I'll do a video about that. For the bed linens, I knew I would need a lot of material and couldn't really afford to pay $5 or more per yard of cotton. Instead, I picked up a cheap fitted sheet and some pillowcases that were on clearance, and I quickly realized the reason they were on clearance was because the label was lying and it was definitely crappy polyester and not 100% cotton like the package claimed. Fortunately, it's just for dolls and comfort isn't an issue. I cut the fitted sheet to make curtains for the canopy, a flat sheet for the bed, and the pillowcases. The elastic got pulled out and put aside to use for doll clothing. I tried to iron the wrinkly ends where the elastic had been, and that was exactly when the iron I got when I got married decided to stop working, so I guess the bedding will just have to stay wrinkly for now. I might put it in the dryer with a damp cloth at some point to see if that helps some of the wrinkles fall out, but I wasn't too impressed. The dolly pillowcases got finished inside with a zigzag stitch, but the curtains and bedsheet all got rolled hems, which ended up taking a very, very long time. Fortunately, the mattress ended up fitting perfectly inside one of the human-sized pillowcases, so I didn't need to do anything special for that. The open end gets tucked underneath, and nobody'll ever see it. While I spent way too long sewing rolled hems, I also modeled a special bracket to help me attach the curtains, and made 4 of them with my 3D printer. The supports were kind of hard to get out, but I was really happy with how this simple little creation worked out for the project. I printed it in beige so it would kind of match the wood. Then the bracket went on the ends of dowel rods. One of the dowels was weirdly larger than the others, and the brackets were really tight on it, so I decided to go ahead and put on the curtains and screw it on that way, and I'll wiggle out the rod later when I have more time and energy. I drilled pilot holes for my screws so I wouldn't split the wood of the bed's frame. Then I screwed on the brackets. While the rods for the side curtains slide through the holes in the brackets, the rods on the ends fit into little angled slots, since I wouldn't be able to slide them in any other way. So with all the curtain rods mounted and the curtains put up, it was time to make the bed and decorate it up. I'd like to make a variety of heavier blankets and maybe some more decorative pillows, but on the whole, I felt like the project went together really well. It's not unusual for doll furniture, especially large doll furniture, to cost hundreds of dollars, but for this project I spent a total of $60 to build it by myself and make all the bedding, and on the whole, I think that's pretty good. That's all for today though. Thanks for watching. Bye.